with all technologies, there's a period where people experiment with them without any material commercial success. And that can go on for years. Like Google Glass came out a decade ago and no one made any progress on Google Glass apps for a decade. So sometimes, people tried to fly in the year 1500, and the New York Times said flying machines will be impossible like 60 days before the Wright brothers figured out how to fly. So you have these periods when things aren't commercial, and then you have a period where they become commercial. And I believe we crossed over into a commercial zone about a year ago in AI. So for the next decade, you're going to see ferocious innovation and advances that will be astounding in AI. And it represents both an extreme opportunity for the human race, profound opportunity, and an extreme threat for the human race. So
Michael has a remarkable talent for identifying transformative technologies early on. While he is often associated with Bitcoin, his initial wealth came from recognizing the immense potential of the dot-com boom and the internet's proliferation. This foresight allowed him to invest in tech giants like Facebook, Apple, Amazon, and Google before their exponential growth. Today, artificial intelligence is captivating everyone's attention as the next technological frontier. In a recent discussion with CryptoNews, Saylor expressed his belief that AI presents an opportunity greater than Bitcoin. He advises entrepreneurs and innovators to seize this moment within the next 12 months, as it holds the potential for massive wealth creation and the realization of groundbreaking ideas. Saylor also sees Bitcoin as a potential solution to one of the major threats posed by AI, the proliferation of AI bots spreading misinformation and manipulating public sentiment. He envisions building an interface, powered by the Bitcoin network, that can identify real human users and counteract this threat. His confidence in Bitcoin is reinforced by his view that AI could either lead the most significant revolution in history or signal the end of humanity, as we know it.
And so I don't want to leave you with the impression that I don't think it's profoundly productive to the human race. I think it could unleash a brain power revolution in the same way that internal combustion engines gave you a horsepower revolution. A Roman trireme with 300 rowers had 30 horsepower 2,000 years ago. And now any fisherman has 300 horsepower. So the fisherman is more powerful than Julius Caesar. That's the horsepower revolution that drives our cars and our boats and our planes, and it is profound and it elevated civilization. The brain power revolution, in a nutshell, is Michael Saylor has 2,000 people that work for him, and he pays $350 million for 2,000 brains. But you may get 2,000 brain powers, and you may pay nothing for it. So what happens when you launch your own company with 2,000 AIs, and they actually do $350 million worth of work, but you don't pay $350 million? Maybe that's profound in the same way that 300 horsepower on a fishing boat is profound, instead of 3,000 slaves rowing, right? So I do think there's revolutions coming everywhere. I think the threat could be best articulated as this, and there's a million threats. I'm going to talk about two threats. The threat in cyberspace is I can spin up 100 million AI bots to take over Twitter or Nostr or Instagram or Facebook or Google, and they're more intelligent than I am, and they're more charismatic than I am, and they work harder than I do. And that means that I could use those to distort any kind of reality. If I want to be Katy Perry, I can create Katy Perry. I can create 100 million of Katy Perry's fans, and I can create
interesting choice, but yeah,
50,000 Katy Perry super fans. And it's all just a fictitious creation in AI land, because the cost to create an entity has gone to zero, okay? So that's a threat, because now the question is, can you trust anything unverified anywhere that you hear? In my personal experience, when I encountered toxicity on Twitter, 95% of the time, the toxic comments weren't coming from real human beings. They were coming from bots that were created by first-generation bot programs. So imagine the third-generation bot program, which is indistinguishable from a person with a PhD. So I could always tell the first-generation bots because they had bizarre names and they had like JPEG images, and they looked stupid. But the problem of third-generation bots is they won't be distinguishable by any human being. They will be more human than a human. So the risk in cyberspace is I can spin up 1 billion fake people and I can create a civil war by having the fake Republicans hate on the fake Democrats, or the real Democrats, and having the fake Democrats hate on the real Republicans, and having the fake women hate on the real men, and having the fake men hate on the real women, until everybody thinks everybody is disrespectful to them. And by the way, maybe this is happening now.
Yeah.
Maybe it just happened with the first generation technology, and that's why we have the cultural divides we have. But imagine when I can do it 1 million times cheaper and better with the next generation technology. I think that the implication is we can no longer allow people to create millions of accounts. Yeah, the other day there were probably 2,000 fake accounts that followed me on Twitter in one day, which means there's 750,000 fake people following me on Twitter every year. No, legit, I saw it. I literally saw in a matter of 1 hour, 1,500 bot accounts got scrubbed off my account in 1 hour, and they were bots. So we can no longer live with that status quo. So the issue is, how are you going to actually create integrity in cyberspace? And I think the simple answer here is you actually create a public-private key identity pair like they use on Nostr, but then you have to actually inscribe it on the Bitcoin base layer with a transaction. So I determine Michael Saylor's public key is this on the Bitcoin base layer. I publish that to the world's most immutable database that's immortal, that's indestructible, on a transaction that cannot be interdicted. If I do that, I've got an orange check. It might cost me a quarter once in my life, but now you've got an immutable identity. If you tie that to your Twitter identity, now if someone wants to launch a billion Twitter bots, it's going to cost them 1 billion transactions, and that's going to be $1 billion. You end up with a cost to mount a billion repetition attack. But B, if you become a fake person, if you generate 10 million fake people, and I catch you in my screen and I block you, it costs you $1 or $10 or $100. So by conjoining or by combining the power of cryptography with the power of a decentralized crypto network like Bitcoin, I can bring cost and consequence into cyberspace. Okay, and I'll give you an example of cost and consequence in real space: gravity and friction. And if I take away the gravity, you float away.
Yeah.
And if I take away the friction, you can't walk across the carpet. And so no machine can work in the universe without conservation, thermodynamics, gravitational laws, etc. No machine can work in cyberspace without the same thing. And so I think that the AIs have just taken us to the natural conclusion, which is cyberspace suffers from toxicity. And in the absence of a cost, of a thermodynamic cost to do something, you cannot trust the thing you see. And so it's inevitable that we're going to actually introduce this idea of cryptographic verification. And once I've done it, then I can digitally sign every document. And if this interview with you and I, we'll finish it. How do you post it to 10 different platforms and sign it? Because if you post it to Twitter, you might be able to sign it with a gold check.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you $1,000 a month and $12,000 a year to have a verification sitting in a centralized database at Twitter. And it won't work on Facebook, Google, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, iMessage, and Telegram, and Reddit. So if you wanted to have a universal authentication, you would create an orange check, and you would actually burn the orange check in the blockchain into Bitcoin's blockchain. You would publish it to Twitter and TikTok and Instagram and iMessage, and you would tell everybody, if you get a message from me or you see work of mine, it needs to be signed with this orange check identity. And if you did that, then you would have some defense when I spin up an AI, because my AI can copy you, copy me, and create 10,000 hours of interviews of the two of us, where you say anything I want you to say, and I say anything the robot master wants me to say, and it will look just as good or better than this interview.
Right.
And the issue is, how can I tell the difference between the fake and the real? And the answer is only with a cryptographic proof that's thermodynamically sound.
Had
MicroStrategy's working on a project in this area where we want to plug Bitcoin's security, the cryptographic security, into enterprise security of any corporation. And I know that Block has projects on decentralized identity where they're studying how you can blend cryptographic security in the modern world in a decentralized way that relies upon an open permissionless protocol like a Bitcoin. So I think there are a lot of people that are looking at this right now, and I think you'll see people focused on it a lot more over the next 24 to 36 months as they see the threat coming from the new AI bots. I mean, there's no reason to wait for someone to save you. Save yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So we're going to do it, and if someone copies us and they do it better, that's fine.
Michael Saylor's intriguing viewpoints on transformative technologies, particularly Bitcoin and AI, have established him as a pioneer in the tech world. His unique ability to identify revolutionary technologies early on lends weight to his thoughts and outlook on artificial intelligence. Saylor advises entrepreneurs and innovators to seize the limited window of opportunity in AI, as this tech revolution holds the potential to reshape the world and foster groundbreaking innovations. Furthermore, Saylor offers an innovative perspective on the role Bitcoin could play in addressing the challenges posed by AI. He proposes that the Bitcoin network could verify real human users and counteract the threat of AI bots spreading misinformation and manipulating public sentiment online. Lastly, Saylor suggests that AI could either drive history's most significant revolution or potentially signal an end to humanity, as we know it. This thought-provoking insight underscores the importance of Bitcoin as a potential safeguard in an AI-dominated future. For more Daily Dose Crypto news, check out these two awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.